when we had that conversation in Rome, I had been, as John mentioned, traveling around for a long time and bouncing around all over the place, and I had the most amazing experience and learned so much along the way. There's something about being in a restaurant every day for me that is so tangible and so fulfilling because we would go to set up these restaurants internationally and then manage them from afar to the best of our abilities. But for me to put so much emotion and passion and effort into opening these restaurants and being there and then leaving 2 weeks after it opened and then coming back 6 months later, there was something about that over time that didn't feel as personally fulfilling for me. So to have the ability to be in New York in our home and live in a restaurant every day and make sure that every corner of the restaurant is the best that it could possibly be and progress and make every day better than the last day was something for me that I was really looking forward to. So I'm very excited to have the opportunity to do that here. When we had that conversation, I knew that John and Sarah, one of our other colleagues, had this concept called Casa Good in their back pocket for years. And I think everyone knows there's enough Casas in New York and probably the United States at this point, but there was something about that name that really communicated kind of what we wanted to be. And it was an easy, everyday restaurant, open all day, serving simple, yet still indulgent and made interesting by our use of premium ingredients menu. So with that, the concept evolved over the last year into Barlume now. I guess a year and a half, it's been longer than that, to what we have today. And Barlume, the word itself, it translates to glimmer or dim light, and almost in an aspirational way. So a ray of hope is another word that we use, or another phrase that we like to use to describe it. And we kind of visualize it as if you see a party happening off in the distance, you see the little flickering light of the party, that's the little Barlume. And for me, I had a personal Barlume. We had our opening night here. It was crazy, 500 people. And then I had to come in at 7 a.m. the next morning because we had a delivery of some large piece of equipment. And I was sitting right here, exhausted. And one of these candles had like rolled under the service station and the candle was still flickering. I was like, okay, that's always going to be my Barlume moment. But yeah, we're so happy with our location. We have these beautiful windows, which you all didn't get to see today, unfortunately. But with this foot traffic in this location, and it also being a real community, we want to be a community hangout. We want to be offering what people are looking for at any given time of day. So from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., that's coffee, pastries, fresh juices. We're gonna have a great tea program as well. So we're gonna lean into that and kind of that front room. After 11 a.m., this whole dining room opens, the mezzanine as well, and we'll be open from 11 a.m. until when we close at 10:30, 11 is our last seating up in the restaurant. So whether that be for a social lunch, a business lunch with all the offices in the neighborhood, a spritz in the afternoon at 3 o'clock with some jamon iberico, or for a real intimate dinner later when you dim the lights down, we want to be able to offer all of those things for this neighborhood and for our guests. And then downstairs, which I invite you all to check out at some point before you leave, we have a 100-seat cocktail lounge to get the late night crowd as well. So many great restaurants in this neighborhood, as you all know. It's really become sort of a restaurant row, especially here on 20th Street, 21st, and 19th. So what we felt like was missing was a late night lounge option, because there's really not a lot of that around here. And we've also just generally found success with the model of having restaurant upstairs and lounge downstairs, as we do at Scarpetta in Seville.